This week we are focused on the pectoralis. So in your chest, there are two muscles. There's a muscle on top and then there's a muscle behind. Over here you can see the muscle behind. The two muscles again are the pectoralis major, the one on the front, and the one inside is the pectoralis minor. Last time we talked about how different angles or working from different angles on a bench press changes the part of the chest that you're working on. If you work from a 90-degree angle, in other words, a straight up and down chair, you are working your deltoids if you do any type of a fly motion. As you drop back and drop the angle of the chair back, you now start working the top part of your chest, and as you keep dropping down, it's a little bit less of the top part of the chest and more the overall chest as you get to the flat level. And once you get to the decline level, now you start working the bottom part of the chest, and that's more of the focus. So more of a bottom, overall, upper, more of upper, and then we get up to the deltoids. And everything we were talking about was from the fly motion while we keep our arms straight and bring them back, okay, till we're at this point. So we'd start up here and then we bring our arms back to we're at that point. And that motion was called a fly motion. And that was the best way to isolate your pectoralis muscle. I want to give you a comparison between a fly and a press. We're working here off an incline bench. And obviously this is a fly, which I've already shown you, keeping your arms straight, bringing your arms down till we get to this point. And notice the arms have stayed straight the whole time. This is the best way to isolate the chest, okay, and in this case, because it's an incline, the top part of the chest, but we don't have a lot of power here. So let me show you how you get more power because you get more muscles involved. We're going to talk about how we get the triceps involved by changing the fly motion to a pressing motion. Let me show you what that looks like. So here we have an incline just like we did last picture, but the difference now is we are doing a pressing motion. Notice at the bottom, the arms are bent. It wasn't like a fly when his arms stayed straight and went all the way out to the side and he just let gravity pull his arms out. In this case, instead of going out, we're coming straight down. So if you take a look here, it looks the same at the top, but at the bottom, the difference is we let the weight come straight down as opposed to guiding it out. And that is the difference between a press and a fly. The reason we have more power with a press as opposed to a fly is because we're getting more muscles involved. When you isolate the pectoralis with a fly, just by bringing it out, those are the only muscles that are working. But when you get the press involved, okay, and let the weight just come straight down and let your arms get bent, your triceps get involved. So now instead of having two muscles do these movements, we're having four muscles do these movements, and we have a lot more strength and a lot more power with a pressing motion than we do a fly motion. And in this case, we're working off of a flat bench, which works all of our chest, and because it's a pressing motion, we are now getting our triceps involved. What I didn't mention in the last image is now instead of using dumbbells, we're using barbells. So when you have these big long bars, they're called barbells. The individual ones you hold in each hand are called dumbbells. Anyways, we've got an incline here, and we're doing an incline bench press, okay? Because we're at an incline, we're working the top part of our chest, and because we're doing a pressing motion, we're also working our triceps. Okay, so when we do a barbell bench press, again, we're working the top part of our chest and our triceps, and we have a lot more power than if we were doing a incline dumbbell fly. So in this image, we're working again with a barbell, but now we're working off of a decline bench. So this is a decline barbell bench press, and because we are pressing as opposed to flying, our triceps involved, and because we're on a decline, the bottom part of our chest is a little bit more involved and is the focus. The same way an incline, flat, or a decline can adjust the part of the chest that we're working on, the width of our grip can do the same thing. The tighter our grip, in other words, if we are over here and our hands are almost touching together, the more triceps that are working. And then the wider you go with your grip, the more pectoralis is working. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you grip it really tight, you're getting a little bit more tricep than you would have if you gripped it normal. And if you're gripping wide, you're getting a little bit more chest than you would if you were gripping it normal. Here is a good example of someone really trying to focus on their triceps as far as their pushing movement goes. And look how tight their grip is. And the reason they're doing this is because they want more of their focus on their tricep and they want to get as much out of their tricep as possible in comparison to their chest. Here are a variety of ways that you can work your chest. I'm going to talk you through a couple of them. First, I want to focus on this thing right here. This is 90 degrees. When you come down and you are at a 90-degree angle, in other words, this part of your arm is straight up and down, and this part of your arm down here goes across, so it looks like basically a corner. Okay, when you get to 90, that is the normal grip. So if you grip wider than 90, more of a chest thing. If you grip tighter than 90, more of a tricep thing. Now let's take a look. So we've got an incline here with a barbell. All right, so they're working the top part of their chest and their triceps. Over here, we've got a dumbbell look on an incline bench. Okay, and again, you're working the top part of your chest and your triceps. The question always becomes, what is better? Well, variety is better. Okay, this is actually more difficult of a lift because you have to stabilize and balance, whereas over here, the bar kind of helps you balance it all together. So this is more difficult than this, but you're still getting a lot of work on either of them. On a flat bench here, you are seeing the whole part of the chest and the triceps. On a decline over here, you're seeing the bottom part of the chest and the triceps. All right. Um, Notice over here, this is an interesting grip. It's an incline reverse grip barbell bench. Okay. This being the barbell and the reverse grip, notice how he's holding the grip backwards. Okay. And what that does, a reverse grip forces more of tricep work than would normally happen. Kind of like a tighter grip forces more tricep work. Here's an example of a little bit of variety. You can see this guy using kettlebells for a fly motion off of an incline bench. Here's a look at some of the machines. So here's some bench press machines. Here's a Smith machine, all for various chest workouts. Here's a seated press, seated incline press here, a flat bench press here, a regular bench press. You've got various machines for sitting. You've got a fly machine here. Um, all the different looks. Again, there's no right or wrong way. There's just a lot of variety, and it's good to do all of them. Some of the things that you can do from home is everybody can get themselves a resistance band. Okay, this is what a resistance band looks like. And this guy's doing a fly motion or pressing motion with one arm here. Another look at it right there. She is hooking the band around her back foot and bringing it around her elbows to do basically an incline pushing motion. So this person right here is hooking behind a pole or something and pressing straight out. So this is another way to do it. So these are ways you can do these things at home with not that much money and still get resistance. And these are called resistance bands, and they don't run that much money, 10 bucks, maybe 15 bucks. This is another look at some various machines. These are called cable fly machines. In this case, you can see this person doing decline cable flies. We have one of these machines up in our older weight room at Montgomery. Whenever you have an opportunity to use these type of cable machines, they're good. They work great for pressing movement and for flying movements. Really quick, let me go through the difference between a pressing motion and a pushing motion. When you do a pressing motion, you're working off of a bench and you're doing a press. So in this case, this person is doing a dumbbell bench press. Over here, we all know this as push-ups. So they are pushing their body up. So the difference between using the word push is you're pushing your own body weight. When you do press, you are pressing weight off of you. In this case right here, notice that he's going off of his knees. That's a good strategy for those who can't do a full push-up from their toes, because from going from their knees, it makes it a little bit easier. And in this case, this person is focusing on his triceps while doing a close grip off of a knee. So it's a knee push-up with a close grip to focus on his tricep. And finally, let's take a look at how to stretch your pectoralis. Anytime you're able to take your arm and pull it against a wall, hold it up, lean into it, and get a real stretch on the front part of your chest there, it's a great stretching exercise. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these. When your arm comes back, we're stretching the pectoralis right there. If you're able to hold your arm back right here like this with a towel, that stretches your pectoralis well. If you're able to hold against the wall right here or have someone pull your arms back, that's a great way to stretch your pectoralis. In this case, she's holding against a chair. But any way where you can make this muscle long by pulling or holding your arm back or swinging your arm around will work. The main points that you need to remember with this video: the difference between a fly motion and a pressing motion. Remember the difference between a press and a push. A press means you're pressing weight off of you. A push is like a push-up when you're pushing your own body weight. The difference between an incline, a flat bench, and a decline in relation to what parts of the chest you're working, and the difference between the width of your grip. The wider you grip, the more chest. The tighter you grip, the more tricep. Go ahead and turn your cameras on now, and the person or people I asked to stay back, please stay back so I can talk to you real quick.